Alrighty guys, we're back for Boros Burn, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, rockin' all for Mechanized Warfare in this one. So it's a 3-mana enchantment. If a red or artifact source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 1 instead, which of course is going to pair beautifully with our Flamebreather here. This is a 2-mana 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, which is a lot of things in here. Like, check out our 1-mana spots, guys. Look at this. 3 End the Festivities, 4 Kumano Phases Kakkazans, 4 Play with Fires, and of course, all 4 Shock, too. And the burn doesn't end there. We also have 4 Lightning Helix, and hopefully you're just pushing all of this at the opponent's face and not being forced to remove too much on their board. You're just constantly spamming fire in the opponent's face. We have 4 lightning strikes as well, ways to see things off the top like Reckless Impulse, and then also Heartflame Duelist making appearances. 2-mana 3/1 instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. Okay, so all your burn becomes Lightning Helix. Also has Heartflame Slash there, instant speed adventure side where it does 3 damage to any target. Pretty solid stuff. Chandra make an appearance as well. When we have this many 1-mana things that we wouldn't mind doing, turn 3 Chandra, going +1 and then going Shock to the opponent's face is not a terrible line of play by any means, especially if you already have a setup with like Mechanized Warfare too. Okay guys, that's actually it, because we're going to save the more in-depth deck discussion for the end of the video after we get some games in. And then we'll talk about more of the synergies there potentially, and also potentially making some changes to the build before we upload it. So look forward to that at the end of the video. In the meantime, let's go ahead, hop into some ranked, and see how we do. Right into that first game, guys. Let's go. Okay. What am I expecting from the build? I think it's going to be good, because I actually played a ton of test games with this one. I wouldn't call them test games. I was just playing this build for fun. And then I was like, okay, it's about time I actually make a video with it. I actually don't know how many games I've got in, but... Okay, keep 7. I like this hand. It's not bad at all. We don't have a turn 1, but End the Festivities in your opener is not a terrible thing when Boros is every other match. Get ready for that Flamebreather play, and hopefully like a Flamebreather on turn 2 and on turn 3. Journal, huh? Flamebreather, are you gonna survive, buddy? Are you gonna be okay out there? Yeah, waiting for the setup. Hopefully it pays off. Creature the Schism. Okay. In and of itself, it doesn't have lifelink, but it is a pretty solid way for the opponent to gain life back, so that could be an issue. Definitely going to keep Seat of the Empire as removal for that if they end up swinging with it. They probably will, but we don't want to keep it open just yet. Go Flamebreather into Kumano, I would say. Opponent? Are you there, buddy? We've been running into a lot of people freezing. And I've been freezing a lot myself too, so we'll go ahead and, oh, there we go. I was going to say, we'll go ahead and pause the recording, but because it has been happening a lot, guys, for real. More mana isn't terrible, I guess. Since we plan on keeping the Seat of the Empire in hand. No attacks. Yeah, the reason we don't mind more mana is because now if we see one of our 3 drops or something that costs 3, we'll also be able to do End the Festivities on the same turn if we want. And doing all that while our Flamebreathers are alive is a good thing. Well, while our 1 Flamebreather is alive is a good thing. Oh no, Flamebreather, why? Alright, so they do get a nice little lifelink dork on the board. Heartflame Duelist. Okay. Well, a great example. We could keep Seat of the Empire. getting the Heartflame Duelist down with a bit of a buff might not end up doing anything for us. If we go 3 damage to Preacher of the Schism and then drop End the Festivities, that does get rid of their board, and then the lifelink won't be a thing. But then we're starting to fizzle out, and we also don't get the benefits. We also don't get the benefits of Kumano's +1 counters. And also, without... Yeah, losing both of our Flame Breathers on the same turn was pretty brutal, because that's a lot less damage hitting the opponent's face. Cruelty of Gix. Well, Lightning Helix is out of the equation. Oh no, Creature or Planeswalker. Oh, nice. That's nothing. That's nothing for us. It's been a while since we've seen Cruelty of Gix. I thought we were just going to be discarding something. More mana is not great, for sure. We do get to keep Lightning Helix open, but they know we have Lightning Helix, so I'll go for the swing. Yeah, we don't want to see mana for the rest of the game, I would say. They're going to be losing some life here, luckily. Did we want to do Lightning Helix on our turn just for more life gain? Like, while Heartflame Duelist is alive? Because we'd gain 6 if Heartflame Duelist is on the board, right? 3 damage to any target, then you gain 3 life, and then that 3 damage has a lifelink, so... I think that's how that would work. Because now, technically, like, they could pop the Heartflame Duelist before the damage gets through. I don't know if that matters too much. We'd rather keep the Lightning Helix open in case they played something we wanted to remove. Sheoldred. Oh, buddy. We're in danger? We need to see our burn immediately. Just more burn off the top for a while. So, sacrifice is a non-token creature. It's gonna be the Etching, I suppose. Yeah, we need to see... Well, I guess anything but land at this point. And I'm just gonna hit face here. Rather than trading like Heartflame Duelist into the... Like, just hitting face is gonna be much more valuable. Mano, it's not land. That is good. Down to 7. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So they're going to get Preacher back. Okay, guys. Okay. Pass it back to the opponent here. Getting the Preacher of the Schism back could be huge for them. Gix comes down. Opponent is rocking just mono black mid-range. And it's looking good, man. Because now they're getting like a great setup. But at any turn, we could see one of our cards that helps us see more off the top. And we could technically be explosive enough here. Okay, we get to keep Seat back and keep Lightning Strike as a surprise. Do you have enough life here, I would say, especially since Lightning Strike will hopefully have that lifelink too. Taking out the Gix wouldn't be terrible. They end up getting greedy with the full swing. Yeah, at any point we could take this match. We'll see what ends up happening, but they know we have Seat of the Empire, so. Looking at that journal, were they thinking about transforming it potentially? They go for that full swing. Okay. Well, so they do get a 1/1 here with the lifelink. But I guess first things first, we want to take care of the Preacher. And then take 7. Well, maybe we should have taken care of Gix. The thing is, if they end up drawing off of the Gix, then that's fine and dandy, dude. You know what I mean? Like go for it. Take that damage. Okay, they're gonna say no. They do know that they are in danger then. Cruelty of Gix. Oh man, that chapter 2, they might just want to go right to 3. They are gonna go right to 3, guys. Oh no, bring back Preacher. So I was going to say we have an option to go Lightning Strike to the 1/1 and then full swing for 5 next turn. But also they would have potentially had open removal as well. So, yep, hitting face, going back up to 16 here. Seed of the Empire. We have no great swings. Preacher blocks the 2/2. The 1/1 with lifelink blocks the Heartflame Duelist. Anyone's game. I think now that we saw more mana off the top, I do think it's leaning towards the opponent, unfortunately. We definitely just needed to see more burn. Or a way to see more burn. Go for the throat number 3 on the Duelist, and Sheoldred comes down. Yeah. So we are going to go for Seed of the Empire on the Preacher again. Unfortunately, they're still getting a 1/1 with lifelink. They are going back up to 5. We do get the block there. Going down to 9. This was a good game overall, wasn't it? I do feel like we could have seen a little bit less. Oh, they're going for the draw. Oh, because Sheoldred gains them that life back. Yeah. Actually, taking out the Gix would have been a little bit better then, right? Since they gained a good chunk off of Sheoldred. Where is it? Creature of the Schism is what we ended up taking out with seat number 2. So it would have been a little better to take out the Gix. Heartflame Duelist isn't bad, is it? I mean, at this point, it's the opponent's next turn with their swing. But I suppose taking out the Gix now isn't a terrible idea. And then we'll go ahead and get the Heartflame Duelist down, because we do have blocks, but we just don't have the utilities to get 9 damage through. Especially sacrifice another artifact or creature, draw a card. They do have the Journal, too, to go up to 11. Okay, like I said, we do have the blocks. We can take 6 down to 1, potentially, if we block here. No, Sleeper gets through. That's right, that's right. So I guess that's that, huh? Because this has Menace. So Sleeper's going to get through here regardless. I thought we had the blocks, but we, in fact, do not have the blocks. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, because Sheoldred ends it then. This is 5 coming through, and then we end up drawing. GG opponent. Yeah, mono black mid-range. It's still a thing for the opponent. The double cruelty was really good. Bringing back the Preacher. That was excellent. The extra life gain off of the Gix's draws actually didn't end up doing too much for them overall, as our draws weren't the best. GG opponent. Okay, so there we go. It looks like I actually had... Looks like I had 5 games in for fun here. Look at that. Look at that. 66% total win rate so far. I actually did have fun that game. However, Arena, do note that I don't want that much land. All right. All right, let's get right into the next one. If we end up flooding out again, which I don't think we will, I'll double check to see how much mana we actually have in the list too. Yeah, I think we'll be fine overall. All right. Hey, Mechanized Warfare would have been huge that game, huh? Monica's first, unfortunately. I can't imagine this is a mulligan. We have a good chunk of burn and our main creature. Novice Inspector. All right, end the festivity off the top. No. Crucible. Keep the Play with Fire open for now. Play with Fire open if they go like Warden and then they tap everything down, then on the stack you drop the Play with Fire is actually really gross. Okay, Novice Inspector. Gonna be a Gleeful Demolition, actually. Okay, that's a pretty wild turn too. And the Festivities doesn't even get rid of the Inspectors, which instead of hitting face here, getting rid of an Inspector? One less creature? I guess. We know how explosive Boros can be, and so I guess one less creature is just not a bad thing. Flamebreather blocks really well, luckily, for now. Like, if they buff all these to 2/2s, at least we'll be able to block one of them successfully without losing the Flamebreather. Sanguine Evangelist, nice. Yep, that's scary business, man. That's very scary business. Flamebreather number 2. You like to see it. Ditching the Evangelist before they swing is going to be important. I'm going to put a stop up there before their attacks, because we don't want the battle cry to go through, but you never know. You never know if we're going to actually have a different target. War Leader's Call doesn't buff it above the Play with Fire. We should keep it open, right? We shouldn't do it now. We should actually utilize that instant speed, because we don't want them to have another bat flying into, because it would lose its summoning sickness. They do drop the 4th mana. Resolute Reinforcements. Get that extra 1/1. Is the stop still here? Okay, the stop's still there. And they go for the draw on the clue. So while we're here, we'll go ahead and take out that Sanguine Evangelist. Now that they're tapped out, and we know what their next course of action is, right? And we still have really great blocks with these Flamebreathers, dude. Okay, End the Festivities off the top, guys. We got 3 of them in here. There's a chance. They're going for the swing. We could double block the Inspector, but just getting more of these off the board is much better. Oh, they just swing in the air. Oh, it is an End the Festivities off the top. Holy cow, dude. I almost fell out of my chair. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what, man? I'm even gonna go for the swing. We have Lightning Strike open here. Probably just gonna hit the opponent's face. That's brutal stuff, man. Holy cow. I can't believe that. Warden of the Inner Sky, nice. Wodane's Recruiter, dude. The opponent still had a really, really good lineup for the turn. So they swing for 7. I think we're just gonna keep Island through to the opponent's face here, right? I think so. I think we can outpace them. We should be scared, though. Definitely should be. But, like, Mechanized Warfare. They only have 1 card remaining in hand, guys, is the thing. We don't have to swing with these Flame Breathers. Okay, Mechanized Warfare number 1 and setting up for the Lightning Strike next turn. So the main thing here is to just survive the turn. As these only swing for 4, that'll bring them down to 2. Now we save back, we just survive the turn, wait for the Lightning Strike play. As long as 1 Flame Breather survives, we'll be okay. Okay, as long as 1 Flame Breather survives. Let's hope that last card in hand is not a case of the Gateway. Okay. Okay. So we can successfully take the 5 if they go for the swing. And I suppose they have nothing else, though, so we will block the Modane's Recruiter, just taking 2. If they had a card in hand, I wouldn't have swung there. And there we go, Lightning Helix. It would have been the Lightning Strike, too, but GG opponent. Very nice. Very nice. Total deck win rate up to 71% now. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Let's keep the ball rolling, huh? I should probably look at my quests once in a while. I probably should take a look at those because I need to get a couple done today. All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? It's actually a pretty slow hand. It's our Reckless Impulse making an appearance, huh? All right, the opponent goes first. I guess we'll give this a shot. It's a pretty slow hand, but we could draw right into an untapped land. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna go right into that Kumano so it flips sooner. And then we might go Reckless Impulse next turn, but I think we might just keep Lightning Helix open. Deep Cavern Bat. Well, I don't know what they take here. Either way, we'll be able to burn it away with one of our other burn spells, so maybe it's gonna be Mechanized Warfare. Oh, End the Festivities off the top. Okay, we could save that, or we could use it. Don't need to poke the bat right now. Could keep Seat of the Empire as utility for now. Don't need to go Reckless Impulse right now either. We're gonna go Sundown Pass and keep the Play with Fire open for their turn in case there's something better we want to hit. And we're gonna save the End the Festivities in case they play another bat, which I guess they'd want to take the End the Festivities then. All right, I'm gonna save it all back. See what happens. Until they play a blue source, I think it's totally fine to just do things on their turn. So Preacher of the Schism is a problem. 3. Okay. I'm gonna get the Scry on the Play with Fire because I think I'm gonna want to take out the Preacher of the Schism next turn too. So we're probably gonna go End the Festivities. I guess I'll keep Shock on top. But I think I want to go End the Festivities and then Lightning Helix all in the same turn. We play our land. End the Festivities. And we'll go Lightning Helix onto the Preacher and swing for 2. I don't know if that's great, but it's not bad. I know that much. Especially since Reckless Impulse will hopefully help us see more off the top here. Deep Cavern Bat number 2 comes down. This wants to hit the Shock because no guarantee that we see burn for the Deep Cavern Bat off of the Reckless Impulse, or off of the top for that matter. Case of the Stashed Skeleton. Can't block. End the Festivity. Wow, dude. Holy cow. I'm going to save that for now, right? I think we want to just hold back for a turn, set up with Mechanized Warfare. They're going to gain a little bit off the bat, but just taking the turn to set up is really, really good. And the Festivities, do we want to go up to 4 of them? Maybe, honestly, with the meta we've been seeing. This is likely some spot removal then, right? Let's go. Let's start with the swing and see what happens. It's going to be some spot removal. -5, -5. Okay. Outside of that, we're going to go right into the Reckless Impulse and see what we see then. Some mana. Not terrible. And then I suppose End the Festivities, and then we have Shock open for their turn. We'll probably shock their face. For 3, right? As we just want to keep pushing that burn at their face. 6th mana. It's going to be a Sheoldred, bro. That's a good amount of life gain. They also solve the case. I think I'm just going to push face, but this could be a big mistake, right? I don't think we want to double down on Sheoldred, though. I think there's a chance that we just... I was going to say, there's a chance that we just see the burn we need to see. More mana is not terrific here, guys. All right, they go back up to 10, and we are now in danger. A 3-turn clock from Sheoldred. 2-turn, actually. What do they want to grab with the Case of the Stashed Skeletons? Oh man, double mana off the top with the Reckless. Aclazotes? Crap. Okay, we gotta win like next turn. I suppose it's possible. We could hit the Aclazotes with the Lightning Strike. They flip it back next turn. It's all or nothing, man. It's all or nothing. I'm going face. They flip this back, or we're on just a couple turn clock from the Shieldred anyways. Down to 10. Heartflame Duelist does not get us there, guys. It's another 4, and they gained that 2 off of the Shieldred, man. So we could... Now is the time to survive 1 extra turn. Now we take out the Aclazotes. And then we get the Duelist down. They go back up to 8 here. Still technically, we could still technically get there. Because this comes out tapped, and if they swing, then... Okay, they don't swing. Flame Duelist down to 8. Aclazotes is going to untap, get him back up to 12. Shieldred brings him back up to 14. Okay. Heartflame Duelist earlier could have been insane, but I do think that would have been the target for the Bloodline Calling, right? Wonder if we could have... Probably not. I don't think we could have gotten that swing through. They swing. They are forcing us to block here. Oh, they found removal off the top, too. So this is a full swing if I've ever seen one. Oh. They decide not to full swing. They would have forced a block on the Duelist because they know we don't have anything in hand. They play the long game, especially now that they're up to 16. There's not a whole lot we can do. More mana off the top, and we'll go ahead and let the opponent play this out. Good game, opponent. Good game. Aclazotes was the perfect grab. Off of the Case of the Stashed Skeletons. Another land off the top, guys. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me double check something here. Let me... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that it? Man, that felt like a lot more. 8 in the top 19, I suppose, is a lot, but also let me double check the list real quick, too. It does feel like we're seeing a lot more land than we would like, so I do just want to double check here. 22, that's about right. That's about right because you want to hit like the Mechanized Warfare on time and stuff as well. Like I don't think we're going to talk about going down to 21. We might just talk about drawing a little better instead. So far, not too bad. Not too shabby. I do think that my test games were a little better. Like I said, I don't really want to call them test games as I was just playing the deck for funsies. All right, no white source, but I'm not worried about it. Let's keep this. And the sooner we flip Kumano, the better. And maybe we'll see an untapped white source off the top. Okay, backwater. I'm going to skip the Reckless Impulse for the turn. And we're just going to keep our burn open. Make sure we can burn the bat away, right? Oh, no bat. Okay. Let's get that Scry with the Play with Fire. See if they want to counter this. They do not. Sundown Pass, keep that on top. I'm going to keep the Shock as well. Instead of just playing it. Like, even though we had open mana for it, it's just feels a little better to hold back. Okay, Sundown Pass. We're going to hold off on the Reckless Impulse for now. We're actually just going to keep everything open. We're going to go for the swing. I'm going to attempt the Heartflame Duelist. Go for the throw on the Etching. I still think I'd rather attempt the 3 damage on their turn. If they get a counter, then we get the Reckless Impulse through without any issues. Alright, let's see what the opponent ends up doing here, as they most likely just pass it. Alright, let's see if they get that counter on the Heartflame Duelist. A pretty good counter, because then we don't get the Heartflame Duelist side of things either. Gonna be a Dissipate, and now they're tapped out. So we do have a free turn here. We're gonna start with the Reckless Impulse in case we see double mana. We do not. Heartflame Duelist over there. I realistically want to use the burn side of that. It is until the end of your next turn, so we could keep the Lightning Strike open, which is probably what I'm going to do, because getting more counter spells out of their hand on their turn just seems a little bit better than anything else. Attempt the Lightning Strike. Yeah, if they go Dissipate number 2, that's not bad for us. And if they take the 3, it's not bad for us. Not a great burn. Right. So it's until the end of this turn. So we're going to go Heartflame Duelist, and we still have Shock open too. These the burn decks against the control builds can be pretty tough, man. I wonder what this is going to be. Potentially like a flash creature then? It's going to be Memory Deluge. So we could go Shock right now while they're tapped out, but I don't think so. I think the way we've been playing it out has been preferable, right? Like trying to get the counter spells on their turn, so that way if we see something important off the top. Realm Breaker. Gonna be a mill style deck, huh? So likely a few Jaces packed in there. Attempt that Shock. Getting them down to 10. Okay, Flame Breather. That's what I'm talking about, huh? See if Flame Breather hits the board. Flame Breather is a great example as to why potentially keeping the Shock back wouldn't be a bad thing. Same concept with the Mechanized Warfare as well. So at this point, if we play Heartflame Duelist, it will likely... I mean, Path of Peril exists. There's some other potential board wipes they could be running too. I'm just going to keep the burn open for their turn again. And the life gain on the Lightning Helix or the Heartflame Duelist probably isn't going to do too much. So they are tapped out now. We could take the moment to do as much damage as possible. And I think that is what I'm going to do. Like now it's not going to be a counter on the burn. They go down to 6. Losing all that burn off the top is heartbreaking, guys. It feels like we're going to draw mana off the top, right? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Just more burn. Any burn. We can't expect We can't expect the Flame Breather to survive here, so we just need like another Lightning Strike off the top, essentially. And yeah, off that mill, we lost a Lightning Helix and a Lightning Strike, so finding the rest of this burn might actually be tricky, but I do think the opponent's in trouble if they don't start doing something fast, because they're getting pretty low, and a lot of these are getting through. March of the Wretched Sorrow. That gains them life, doesn't it? It does. They're back up to 12, and it is a mana off the top, guys. Oh, no. Okay, we have the Lightning Strike. Maybe we should have just done it on our turn, but, like, that's rough business, man. March of the Wretched Sorrow. Oh, okay. Getting some mana, though. Okay, but the Lightning Helix, that's tough, man. That is 3 of our Lightning Helixes and 2 of our Lightning Strikes, and we have 1 Lightning Strike in hand. Oh yeah, dude, we're in trouble. We're definitely in trouble. After that life gain, I think it potentially was leaning towards us, regardless of how much the opponent actually had in hand. I do think once we got them down to 6, it was starting to lean towards us, but... Oh no, guys. Okay, let's attempt the swing and hope that it gets through. Like, they'll be back down to 6. The mana has been an issue, but we can't completely blame the 22 land for this one, as a milling tends to really mess up the course of the build, you know what I mean? Mana, Reckless Impulse. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, guys, as long as it's not mana off the top, pretty much anything would be fine if it lands. Kumano, yep, totally fine, dude. totally fine. Just anything that pokes damage through. And then Kumano eventually flips, hopefully. Realmbreaker being brutal. More mana off the top, guys. Oh, no. That is 7 on the board. Thin out my deck, opponent. Thin out the build, please. Mana and the festivities. Mechanized Warfare. I mean, at this point, Mechanized Warfare wasn't going to be doing too much for us anyways, so... What's this now? Cease. More life gain. Oh, gross. Exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Target player gains 2 life and draws a card. So they target themselves there. Mana flips next turn. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the opponents, especially since they're back up to 10, but I guess you never know. Probably going to be a bit of a longer match, unfortunately, but I think I'm going to stick it out depending on what happens. Like, if they drop a second, if they drop like a second March of the Wretched Sorrow, then I guess we'll bounce, right? Because they just go like X is 10 and gain 10, and then that's really it, you know? And it feels like something. It is. It's going to be March of the Wretched Sorrow for 9. Let's do Play with Fire, see what's on top. Reckless Impulse. I wonder if they mill that on their turn. Because technically Reckless Impulse could lead us into more, but they're at 17, and I'm pretty sure they're going to mill us now since we kept that on top, right? Oh, it actually would have led us into a Flamebreather and another Reckless Impulse. Holy cow, guys, that's actually really good, as we'd play Flamebreather and then Reckless Impulse and maybe actually be explosive enough. Let's drop them the GG, guys. I don't see us getting out of another Dissipate. I don't see us getting out of here alive. I think they are going to mill us out, and they gained a ton of life there. Guys, 37 minutes in, and we still got to do the more in-depth talk or discussion on the deck. But I want to go one more. I really, really believe in the list. Like I said, when I was just playing it for fun, it was absolutely bulldozing. So, yeah, I definitely believe in the list. These matches have been much tougher, much more of an uphill battle this entire video. So, yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can have the deck really do a thing. Yeah, we'll give this hand a try, but the opponent goes first. Get that down. Double Seed of the Empire. It's not terrible. Using one as a utility and one as land isn't going to be a bad thing. Hopefully Flamebreather survives the turn. We definitely want it to survive the turn. And then Reckless Impulse might be better than Heartflame Duelist. Swift Spear. Flamebreather is not going to survive the turn, unfortunately, guys. And with the Kami's Flare, they actually get that 2 through since they had a modified creature on Scoundrel. Guys, we're in trouble. More mana off the top. I suppose we start with Reckless Impulse. Okay. Battlefield Forge. Shock the Swift Spear, right? Taking 1, but Swift Spear is an explosive creature. So we do want to take care of that now while they're tapped out. 4th mana comes down. There'll be another Charming Scoundrel. It's 4 through, and if we kill either of these... Oh! Godric. Squee! Equally as terrifying. Alright, opponent, dude. Yeah, we still see mono red, and it really depends on the version you end up seeing. I believe this would be Godric mono red, based on the Squee and the Scoundrel, right? Actually, I guess we start with Reckless Impulse, because we could see... I was going to say, we could see double End the Festivities. Even so... The one End the Festivities isn't terrible, but then they have 5 going through anyways. Yeah, they'll still have the 5 going through. We actually don't have a way to spot remove the squee or anything. That's actually pretty good. We'll still do that. Like, we could have seen double End the Festivities and actually survived the turn, but with only 3, that would have been pretty unlikely. We could have played like the other Reckless Impulse, but we were actually out of mana too. Good game opponent. Wow. All right. Really, really tough uphill battles. Actually bringing the entire deck win rate down to 50%, which I'm actually relatively surprised about. Overall, I think we could have performed much better today. But let's go ahead, go over the deck list one more time. And again, in that last game, it felt like way too much mana, huh? Boros burn. Let's take a look-see real quick. Okay, number 1, depending on what you're seeing, if you are seeing like a lot of Boros, for example, the 4th End the Festivities is going to go that extra mile, I would say. I don't think you'd complain about that at all. I would just drop the Kumano. Drop down to 3 Kumanos, go up to 4 End the Festivities. If you are seeing a lot of go wide Boros, or even just like there's some Orzhov tokens floating about every now and then, like still just mono white in general, mono white humans is floating about, and the Festivities deals with that quite nicely. And when it's paired with Mechanized Warfare too, it's just so good. As far as the mana base goes, guys, I'm shocked by how much we ended up flooding today with 22. And if you drop to 21, you're going to be pretty sad sometimes when you actually don't get the 3rd on time for the Warfare, which was actually just really hard to set up for today, wasn't it? Flamebreather is always going to be an MVP. I think the only reason we lost that one game was because they doubled down on the Flamebreather removal, right? We had 2 Flamebreathers on the board, and on the same turn, they got rid of both of them with 2 different Go for the Throats. That was pretty brutal stuff. Keeping at least one of these on the board could have really helped us out there significantly. This is kind of the MVP creature of the build. Heartflame Duelist felt a little expensive sometimes, but you still want that creature in here that doubles as that removal. And then, yeah, the 3 for 3 is pretty slow, but just like having that extra utility on a card is totally fine, huh? Do we want more cards like Reckless Impulse? I don't think so. We do have the Wrenn's Resolve that you could play with too if we wanted like 5 of the same ability. I think 4 is fine. If you go up to 5 of the same ability, I don't exactly know what you drop except for... Yeah, I want to keep the Chandra too. I think in some of those matches, Chandra would have been really, really good. If we go up a Wrenn's Resolve, we could drop a Mechanized Warfare, but this is going to win you so many games as well. Like I said, though, you need a good amount of setup too. If we go up a Wrenn's Resolve, we could also... we could drop a mana, right? Okay. Yeah, let's drop a seat and go up a Wrenn's Resolve. Because now that helps us see more mana off the top, and then we'll flood a little less than what we flooded today with 21. Hopefully that'll be okay. And I'll tell you what, guys, I am going to make this change on my end because I really do think the 4 End the Festivities is going to be terrific. So we'll go ahead and make that change before uploading there. Now, we do have some honorable mentions, just cards that I thought about for the build. So I thought about Thermal Alchemist, but we do have like a lot of enchantments and stuff in here. This mostly works with just instants and sorceries, right? But it could potentially be a way to get that extra damage through. Thought about Invasion of Regatta, potentially instead of like Heartflame Duelist, right? Because it'll be that same concept where Heartflame Duelist deals 3 damage to any target, whereas Invasion of Regatta comes down just 4 damage, slams to the opponent's face, and if you have like Mechanized Warfare on the board, it's 5 damage, so could be pretty good. Now we also... Okay, yeah, so Invasion of Regatta, honorable mention for a reason, right? Rem could have been pretty cool here. It's kind of a similar concept where this is... so if a spell would deal damage to you, or another permanent you control, you prevent that damage. If a spell would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage, +1 instead. This has such a huge target on its back. It's such a fun card. It's such a neat card, but I can't imagine going up any Rems instead of just having the Mechanized Warfare. You know what I mean for this build? So, yeah. Yeah, honorable mention for a reason, though. Really neat. Thought about, like, Stoke the Flames as well as the March of the Reckless Joy, but I do think just, like, having Wrenn's Resolve and the Reckless Impulse would be fine. I do think going up to 5 of this style ability for this build in particular is actually going to be pretty good. So I actually like these changes that we made, and I do realistically think we can keep this above a 50% win rate, right? Like at the end of the day, we had that 50%, even though in the video we lost a whole bunch of those games. Yeah, I believe in the list. I think it could totally stay above a 50%, honestly. And now that we made these changes too, I like it. It looks relatively clean, doesn't it? Yeah. Guys, let me know what you think about the new format. All week we've been trying this thing where we very briefly go over the deck at the beginning and then just talk more detail at the end. You guys will have to let me know what you think of that new format. Let me know what you think of like us changing up the builds at the end. Since we play experimental deck lists anyways, and it makes sense that we would be changing it up a bit at the end based on what we ended up seeing and based on what we think would look the best. So I've actually been having a lot of fun changing things up with you guys here at the end. Yeah, it actually is a ton of fun. So also, guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Alrighty, guys, I will see you in the next video.